So one more video on Feuerbach as the Proto Heidegger. This passage reminds me of the significance of the life world. So in some of Heidegger's lectures from 1919 on, very early stuff, he's already emphasizing that the life world is significant. It is not only external things that are objects of the senses. Man, too, is given to himself only through the senses. Only as a sensuous object is he an object for himself. For instance, I can see my face in the mirror. The identity of subject and object in self-consciousness, only an abstract thought, has the character of truth and reality only in man's sensuous perception of man. This kind of reminds me of A.J. Ayers, how we're all in each other's streams. But the main thing here is self-consciousness. It's the consciousness of a human that's in the flesh, that can direct itself in concern toward its own flesh. Like shave, give yourself a good shave. But also the way that you perceive others. They are there in the flesh. The expression on their face, the way they walk, the way they dress. We feel not only stones and wood, not only flesh and bones, but also feelings when we press the hands or lips of a feeling being. We perceive through our ears not only the murmur of water and the rustle of leaves, but also the soulful voice of love and wisdom. We see not only mirror-like surfaces and specters of color, but we also gaze into the gaze of man. So I like this. He says we feel not only stones and wood, but we feel feelings. In the way that people look at us and talk to us. A good firm handshake. Sensation is not some simple, stupid thing, right? That's why perception is actually a better word. Perception in its fullness, right? It's a very reduced notion of perception when we think of sensation that is then somehow sanctified by some sort of magical idea stuff that's stamped upon it. Right, so the way I like to read Plato's esoteric doctrine, there is no pure meaning, and there is no idiotically pure or empty sensation. These are theoretical abstractions. The life world is originally significant. When somebody waves at you, it's not like a maze of sensations, and then we paint on the Platonic magical idea stuff. It's a radically plural, already richly significant life world. So I did some videos called The Presence and Quality of Meaning, and if we get rid of the theological notion of the sign, right, this would be the signified as a passenger on the signifier as vehicle. If we think instead in a demystified way of equivalence classes, blurry equivalence classes, of qualitative radiant events that are partially interchangeable, right? So two sentences have the same meaning if they are mostly interchangeable, right? The meaning is not some weird little demon that's surfing on the sound, right? These are already meaningful sound acts that are roughly interchangeable for the particular purpose, for the particular pointing. We often point with language. Hence, not only that which is external, but also that which is internal. Not only flesh, but also spirit. Not only things, but also the ego is an object of the senses. All is therefore capable of being perceived through the senses, even if only in a mediated and not immediate way, even if not with the help of crude and vulgar senses, but only through those that are cultivated, even if not with the eyes of the anatomist and the chemist, but only with those of the philosopher. So yeah, to me, this is really fascinating. He's talking about sublimating, enriching perception. And this connects to me to like the further revelation of the object and the historicalness of being. Now, if you look at someone like a piece of meat and you try to measure their cranium, right? If you don't know how to read their expressions, their physiognomy, if you approach them crudely, the object will manifest for you crudely. But that same object, that face of the other, could manifest in this, wonderful, rich way to someone else who is properly open to it. And the idea of the philosopher, right? Like, this is a very sort of beautiful idea of the philosopher, someone who is attuned, someone who is open, someone who can properly unveil, properly free the expression of the other. You might say someone who can hearken and not only hear. Empiricism is therefore perfectly justified in regarding ideas as originating from the senses. But what it forgets is that the most essential sensuous object for man is man himself. So for humans, other humans are the most important perceived entities. That only in man's glimpse of man does the spark of consciousness and intellect spring. And this goes to show that idealism is right insofar as it sees the origin of ideas in man, but it is wrong insofar as it derives these ideas from man understood as an isolated being, as mere soul existing for himself. In one word, it is wrong when it derives the ideas from an ego that is not given in the context of its togetherness with a perceptibly given you. Ideas spring only from conversation and communication. Not alone, but only within a dual relationship does one have concepts and reason in general. This also reminds me of Heidegger. So if you believe in the fiction, the theological fiction of pure meaning, okay, maybe you can believe in the private language in this little Cartesian bubble. But once you understand aletheia, or truth, as most fundamentally being the revelation of the shared life world, it becomes clear to you that you're pointing out something to the other. You're together disclosing reality for one another. It takes two human beings to give birth to a man, to physical as well as spiritual man. So this is him, I said he was happily married, right? So he means sexual reproduction. The togetherness of man with man is the first principle and the criterion of truth and universality. Even the certitude of those things that exist outside me is given to me through the certitude of the existence of other men besides myself. That which is seen by me alone is open to question, but that which is seen also by another person is certain. So I've mentioned this before, like if you're walking, maybe it's a group of friends, maybe there's 5 of you, and you see something weird in the sky, some pattern of lights, and maybe you've been drinking or something, and you're like, hey guys, check that out. If no one else can see it, then you will classify that intentional object probably as a hallucination. But if everybody else sees it and is also amazed, that will increase the strength of your belief. You will you will classify that intentional object as really there in the ordinary sense, as a kind of physical public phenomenon.